Man, I can't believe no one's given me a call yet for a job. I did such good work at Volswinger last year. 5 Champions Leagues. Obviously, it just means nothing. I'm going to go to my backup plan. YouTube shorts and TikTok songs with football involved. Got a fresh one? Let's see if it works, okay? We'll just get the rhythm. Doof, doof, doof. Okay. 3, 2, 27 reasons why Darwin Nunez, saviour of the Reds, scores and assisting. Yes, my phone's ringing. Thank God, that was awful. That was not a good one. Be calm, Shaun, be calm. Hello, Shaun speaking.
Hi Shaun, it's John Henry from FSG here. Do you have time to talk?
Yeah, of course I have time. Go on.
So as you might be aware, Jurgen tends to struggle in his 7th season at clubs. Because of that he is having a 1-year holiday to refresh. We save your work in Iceland and we're wondering if you would consider taking over at Liverpool while Jurgen is away?
Absolutely. Get me on the next plane out of New Zealand. I'll be there in a jiffy, guys. I'm all ready for this. This is the moment I've been waiting for my entire life.
Great. We'll see you soon. And remember, it's the quadruple or nothing.
Okay, cool. See you soon. Bye. Quadruple or nothing? Hello everyone and welcome to the Liverpool beta for Football Manager 2023 here on Shaun Does FM. It's going to be a 1-season save as mentioned in the intro called Quadruple or Nothing, where we take over from Jurgen Klopp, who has gone on holiday for 1 season, and we see if we can do what he couldn't do last season and pick up all 4 major trophies this upcoming season. So if you are looking forward to the save or are new around here, obviously my name is Shaun. We do Football Manager Let's Plays and we are very excited to get started on Football Manager 2023. Then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already, also consider hitting that subscribe button and turning that notification bell on as well, so you do not miss out on any of the Football Manager 2023 content. Ideally, during this beta period, we are going to do a video of the save every single day. So hopefully you guys will stick around for this one. In today's video, we are going to get our feet under the desk, so to speak, and see where we do potentially need to improve this Liverpool team as we do get settled in to the club here on the first day that this Football Manager 2023 beta has been out. So we'll go over to the gameplay screen, and as you can see now, we are at Liverpool. The team, of course, did finish second in both the Premier League and the Champions League last season and picked up the FA Cup and the League Cup this season. We are going to try and win all 4 of those trophies, and as I said today, just getting introduced to the squad here at Liverpool, being a Liverpool fan, obviously a few notable departures in the off-season, most notably Sadio Mane, and also quite useful squad players in the likes of Takumi Minamino and Divock Origi as well. So those are players that we are going to potentially have to replace, albeit there is some quite good young talent coming through at Liverpool, but whether they can help us go on a quadruple winning season against a team like Erling Haaland's Manchester City remains to be seen. But first things first, we will go over to the inbox. As you can see, I have taken over at Liverpool. But first things first, here are the club vision and expectations. We'll go over and negotiate this so you guys can see this a little bit more on the full screen. They prefer us to play attacking football, which is definitely something I am going to look to do, of course, with the good attacking threats that we do have here at Liverpool, albeit these days without players, as I mentioned before, like Sadio Mane. They also want us to develop players using the club's youth system. That's a little bit more difficult in a 1-season save, and also sign players under the age of 23 for the first team, which is definitely something I will be looking to do. Got one transfer target in particular who we will reveal in a little bit. In terms of competitions for this season, they want us to just qualify for the Champions League. So we only need a top 4 finish, or of course to win the Champions League, also challenge for the FA Cup, be competitive in the Community Shield. Hopefully we'll have that coming up for you guys in tomorrow's episode. Also challenge for the Champions League and be competitive in the Carabao Cup. Of course, the name of the save is Quadruple or Nothing. So 4 of those 5 competitions we want to be winning, but that all looks like fairly sensible stuff. They also want us to work towards being self-sustainable, and that's something which is really ingrained into Liverpool's culture over the years that Jurgen Klopp has been in charge. So hopefully we can continue that, but that looks all honky-dory and we will confirm that and now go over and have a look at the more defined season expectations. The bare minimum is that they expect us to reach the semi-final of the Champions League, also qualify for the Champions League through the Premier League, the FA Cup, reach the semi-final, the Carabao Cup, reach the third round minimum. We can probably actually bump that one up to the fourth round, truth be told, albeit it's not too much of an increase with the transfer budget, so we might just leave that. Where it wasn't also performed to a fair level of respectability against Manchester City in that Community Shield, so we will accept those, and that is what we do need to live up to in the save. But as I mentioned, we are gunning for all 4 of those major trophies in this upcoming season, and now it's time for us to go over and have a look at something new in the game in the supporter profile, where things get just a little bit more interesting with this being a new feature. As you can see, 7% of Liverpool's supporters are hardcore, 30% core, 25% family, 17% fair weather, 3% corporate, and 18% casual. So quite a strong base there of quite passionate supporters here at Liverpool. It is fair to say the supporters' influence on the board is high, so 4 out of 5 dots there. For that social media, just shy of 49 million followers, 30,000 season ticket holders, and the waiting list is just above 91,000. So lots of supporters here at Liverpool who we do need to please, and hopefully we can keep them on our side throughout this save. In terms of the supporters' expectations, become the most reputable team in England, also develop players using the club's youth system, play attacking football and entertaining football. So all of that does match quite nicely with what the board did expect from us. Also, finish above Everton, Manchester United, and Chelsea in the league. So 3 teams there we definitely need to be finishing above, and they also want us to win the Premier League, and that really is a requirement. So we need to perform very, very well in the Premier League this season, at the very least, if we do want to keep the supporters on our side and hopefully avoid getting sacked here in this beta save. An injury update. This is actually quite interesting for Liverpool to start off. FM23, in particular, goalkeeper, is a bit of a problem area. 5 serious injuries, and 2 of those are to our best 2 goalkeepers. Alisson is out for 3 to 6 weeks with an abdominal strain, and also Callagher, the backup, is out with a torn groin muscle. That's a bit more of a serious injury. He is out for 2 to 3 months at the moment. Our first choice goalkeeper for the early stages of this season leading in to that Community Shield is going to be Adrian. So potentially that is a little bit of a problem area. Also out for a little bit, Diogo Jota with a hamstring strain, Curtis Jones with shin splints, and Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, as per regular, with a torn hamstring and also some recurring injuries. The Ox with groin strain and a pulled hamstring. So obviously Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, quite an injury-prone player, and Thiago, torn knee ligaments. We're going to have to be quite careful with him. So quite a few midfield players there who are nursing some ongoing injuries. Maybe that's an area we should look to improve here at Liverpool. In the near future, we go up a little bit further, and as you can see, we've got some squad selection rules, which it looks like we are currently meeting with our squad size, and also the transfer window has begun. As you can see so far, the biggest deals, Erling Haaland going to Manchester City and Casemiro to Manchester United, the most busy club, Nottingham Forest, and the biggest spenders are Chelsea, even though some of that business is a little bit debatable in how effective it has been. But we are going to go over now and have a look at the tactic we are going to use for the save for the initial stages anyway. We were suggested by the assistant manager, Pep Linders, to use a gegenpress. I think 4-3-3 does suit the Liverpool team that we do have here available to us. But let's go over to the squad plan and have a look at the comparison compared to other teams in the Premier League. If we go over to physical, you will see the stamina isn't actually that great. They are just above the average, so I don't think a gegenpress is actually going to be that suitable for this Liverpool team. So because of that, we are going with the same tactic that we did use in our Builder Nation save on Football Manager 2022, and that is the vertical tiki-taka. This was a great system last year. We won 5 Champions Leagues with it over in Iceland. I'll leave a link to that series over in the top right corner, and this is the team that I've come up with, which does look like our best available 11 if we are to play this 4-3-3. Obviously in goal, and he is fit, Alisson, world-class goalkeeper, one of the best going round in the Premier League. He will be our regular starting goalkeeper when he is fit. At right back, Trent Alexander-Arnold, obviously a player in real life. There was a few doubts about his defending abilities in this game. I think he is still going to be a very, very good right back option, certainly our first choice there. And at centre back, the pair that we are going to go with in our big games Virgil van Dijk, obviously world-class centre-back, he will be there. And alongside him, Joel Matip, in terms of attributes, does just look a little bit better than both Ibrahima Konate as well as Joe Gomez. So he will partner Virgil van Dijk to begin with. In this first team at left back, Andy Robertson. Love this guy, real tough player out of Scotland who does not take any crap. And that is exactly what we need in this Liverpool team. In the halfback role, Fabinho suits this really, really nicely. So he should fit into that role very well indeed. Going forward to the more attacking midfield, in terms of a box-to-box midfielder, for the attributes that do suit that role, Jordan Henderson does get outperformed a little bit based on those attributes by Naby Keita. So this could be an area potentially that we do look to improve, because that does look like an area we could get a better player. So I think Naby Keita for now is going to be our starting box-to-box midfielder, with Jordan Henderson putting quite a bit of pressure on him. But I do think that's the main area that we could improve in this Liverpool squad. And there is certainly a player I have on my mind, and you might be able to tell who it is, because he has been linked to Liverpool quite a bit recently. Down to the Mazzala on attack, that is going to be Thiago. Hopefully we can keep him fit at 31 years old, and with that recurring injury that he does have, but he is an absolute magician on the ball and with his passing. So hopefully he will last the full season without too many injuries. And then we go forward to our front three, which obviously has had a bit of change since they did go close to the quadruple last season. Mohamed Salah will start out on the right wing. The Egyptian King will hopefully be up there in terms of the Golden Boot in the Premier League and all those other competitions. Yet again, we might switch him eventually to an inside forward, but for now, this inverted winger did work well in this tactic for me last season out on the right-hand side. So we'll see if that is the case yet again on Football Manager 2023. Out on the left wing, Luis Diaz will step in where Sadio Mane has left a gap, and of course he was really good once he did come into Liverpool back in January from Porto. And up front we are going with Darwin Núñez, saviour of the Reds apparently. Hopefully he will be. He has a little bit of potential, so we're going to go with him over someone like Roberto Firmino. Not too much difference between those two players in terms of their attributes for that pressing forward role. So we'll see how that goes. We can always switch it to an advanced forward, because that is the one position we have left a little bit different to what we did have in that Build Nation save on the last Football Manager. But Darwin Núñez does just look like he's a bit more potential room to grow than Roberto Firmino. So he will be our first choice striker. And then we go over to our second choice 11 in the team that we'll put out in the lower cup games, the early stages of competitions like the Carabao Cup and potentially the FA Cup. Usually our backup goalkeeper would be Kelleher. He did a really good job in those cup competitions in real life last season. Calvin Ramsey was actually in the development centre when we did first come into the save. We have promoted him to the first team. Quite a promising right back out of Scotland. Really good crossing at only 18 years old. Is injured at the moment alongside Kelleher, but once he comes back, he should be the backup right back in this save. Konate and Joe Gomez, as I said earlier, just in behind Joel Matip for that second centre-back spot in the first team. So that is an area we are quite strong in here. At Liverpool, at left-back, Kostas Tsimikas, really good backup there for Andy Robertson. Our backup midfield, Milner in the DM role with Henderson and Curtis Jones. In the more attacking midfield, Curtis Jones is another player who comes into this FM with an injury. So maybe for now, someone like an Arthur might sneak his way into the team, of course, being on loan from Juventus. We'll see what we do with him, or if we get someone in a bit better so we don't have to use him too much. But that is our midfield here. I would ideally maybe get a bit more suited defensive than James Milner. If we sign someone in that box-to-box midfield role, Jordan Henderson can go to being a defensive midfielder, which I think might suit him just a little bit more than being the backup box-to-box midfielder. And going forward to the front three, some quite young talent here. Harvey Elliott, one of the wonder kids in the game this season, young 19-year-old, who we are definitely going to give some game time to. Out on the right wing, out on the left wing when he is fit, is Diogo Jota. He will be a very, very good option for us both on the left wing and up front when he does come back from his injury. The Portuguese international, unfortunately, with that injury he suffered against Manchester City in real life, not going to the upcoming World Cup. And the backup striker, as mentioned earlier, is Roberto Firmino, who has had a bit of a resurgence in real life this season. Hopefully that also translates over to Football Manager 2023. And the other players in our squad that we haven't mentioned too much yet are players like Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, who unfortunately is injured at this stage of the save. Could be quite useful and potentially one of those box-to-box or Mazzala roles when he does come back from that injury. And also Nathan Phillip, who is listed for transfer, probably a player we will look to get rid of for £4.4 million. And going down a bit further, our third choice goalkeeper, of course, is Jurgen, but with that goalkeeping situation at the moment, he might get a bit more football if we do not sell him, because he is wanted by Al Ain and is valued between 1.7 and 2.3 million pounds. Maybe that's an area we could get a young, talented goalkeeper into the squad to be that third choice rather than an old, experienced head like Adrian, and try and boost up the funds to buy a serious first team player. But that is what the squad does look like here at Liverpool going into this Football Manager 2023 beta. And going back to the first team, as I mentioned, I think the first area we really need to focus on is a box-to-box midfielder who can step in for someone like a Naby Keita, and then we can switch Jordan Henderson to being a backup defensive midfielder. And the one player who I have got on my shortlist is none other than Jude Bellingham. This is what he looks like in this year's game at only 18 years old. He would be an absolutely sensational transfer. It is going to cost us a large whack of money, but I think he would really improve that first team in Liverpool, really strengthen up the midfield, and it just helps our balance out quite a bit. We could potentially find someone available for a bit cheaper than Jude Bellingham, but for me, he is the top target for this upcoming transfer window. So hopefully we might be able to sell some players and raise some funds to get him into the squad. Maybe sell someone potentially like a Naby Keita or some of those other older fringe players and try and get him into the squad and really see if he can help us go for a quadruple winning season. He does look like an absolutely superb talent in this year's Football Manager, one of the best wonder kids in the game. But as you can see, it's going to cost us quite a bit, between 97 million and 114 million. And going into this save, unfortunately, we only have 42 million pounds available as a transfer budget, albeit the wage budget is up around 250,000 pounds. So potentially we could jump that up a little bit, but we are still going to need to sell some players if we do want to sign someone like Jude Bellingham. Just having a quick look at these other recommendations that our scouts have already put up for us here as we do get into the job at Liverpool. Quite interesting to see that a lot of them are midfielders. The one that immediately catches the eye is Eduardo Camavinga out of Real Madrid. He is certainly much more in our price range, between 56 million and 68 million, albeit a lot less green attributes than we did just see from Jude Bellingham. So maybe Jude Bellingham still, for that extra money, would be a better option. And going down a bit further, there are some decent options here, but I do think our ideal signing for the first team going into the start of this upcoming season would be Jude Bellingham to strengthen up their midfield role. And from there, it probably depends on who else gets some interest and who we might be prepared to sell, to see what other areas in the squad we might look to improve going into the start of this 2022-23 season, because quite a few of those players in our backup team, if we do get an injury to the first team, if we go over to one of the new tabs here on Football Manager 2023, in the squad planner, as you can see, starting off with striker, can play in a number of positions. We actually have 5 players who could play up front, even though you probably only want to rely on the top 4 of those 6 players who can play out on the right wing. There are 7 players who can play on the left wing. Apparently there are 11 options in the Carrilero role, albeit Jay Spearing probably not one of them. Going to the box-to-box midfield role, again, 10 options if you did consider that Trent Alexander-Arnold could potentially move forward and play in the midfield. But I think for this save, we are going to leave him as a right back. In terms of the defensive midfield, 6 real options there, albeit, as I said, that could potentially be another area that we do look to strengthen, because I do think there is a decent drop-off between Fabinho and the rest of those defensive midfield options. Right back, we do have Trent Alexander-Arnold and also James Milner and Fabinho, who are decent right back options, as well as Joe Gomez, but Calvin Ramsey will be the number 2 with that good potential that he has at centre back. We have 6 decent options, albeit Nathan Phillips is listed for transfer and probably one of the players we are prepared to sell and out at left back. Quite strong there with Robertson, Tsimikas, Gomez, and of course James Milner, the Swiss Army knife, who can pretty much go anywhere. And as I said before, at the moment, Adrian, our first choice goalkeeper, but we do have Oscar Kelly, who we could call upon if we really need to, should we have another injury to one of our first team goalkeepers. But I think that sets things up for this Football Manager 2023 beta save. As I mentioned, ideally, we will come back tomorrow for the Community Shield once we get through a large variety of friendly games, including a Jordan Henderson testimonial against Athletic Bilbao. But the first game we're going to come back for is the one trophy we don't care about too much, albeit if we win it, we could argue if we drop one of the other trophies at the end of the season that we did still win a quadruple, and that is the Community Shield against Erling Haaland's Manchester City, an early chance to see just how dangerous he is in this year's game. And by then as well, I should have had a bit of time to maybe get a few more options for that box midfield role, which I do think is the priority to strengthen in this first transfer window. But that will do it for the first episode of this Liverpool beta on FM23. If you did enjoy this one and are looking forward to the new game, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are looking forward to this series, then do remember to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. And until tomorrow for the Community Shield and hopefully a bit of a transfer update, thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.